The Egyptians believed that the soul, which was once in contact with the body, remained in contact with the body forever. This same idea informs the concept of resurrection. The soul will return to the body it once inhabited. Reincarnation involves a drastically different way of thinking. It downplays the significance of the physical body, which is merely a temporary, disposable vessel for the soul. A reincarnationist has no need to mummify a body. However, arguably, all resurrectionists should be in the mummification game. Christianity ought to be centered on mummification. Or cryonics. Fraser wrote, both branches of magic, the homeopathic and the contagious, may conveniently be comprehended under the general name of sympathetic magic, since both assume that things act on each other at a distance through a secret sympathy, the impulse being transmitted from one to the other by means of what we may conceive as a kind of invisible ether, not unlike that which is postulated by modern science for a precisely similar purpose, namely, to explain how things can physically affect each other through a space which appears to be empty. The ancient Egyptians believed in a magical ether that allowed the soul and mummified body to be in secret sympathy and communicate with each other. Many people would probably believe that today if they thought hard enough about it. Humans definitely aren't analytic thinkers, they are magical thinkers. Fraser wrote, perhaps the most familiar application of the principle that like produces like is the attempt which has been made by many peoples in many ages to injure or destroy an enemy by injuring or destroying an image of him, in the belief that, just as the image suffers, so does the man, and that when it perishes he must die. Egyptians believed that by treating the mummy well, good things happen to the soul. If the mummy is pleased, so is the soul. Fraser wrote, the Peruvian Indians molded images of fat mixed with grain to imitate the persons whom they disliked or feared, and then burned the effigy on the road where the intended victim was to pass. This they called burning his soul. In ancient Egypt, when they couldn't mummify a person, they often used a small statue or effigy instead. The idea was the same, the likeness served as a way of contacting what it resembled, the soul. Fraser wrote, for it is to be observed that the system of sympathetic magic is not merely composed of positive precepts, it comprises a very large number of negative precepts, that is, prohibitions. It tells you not merely what to do, but also what to leave undone. The positive precepts are charms, the negative precepts are taboos. In fact, the whole doctrine of taboo, or at all events a large part of it, would seem to be only a special application of sympathetic magic, with its two great laws of similarity and contact. Though these laws are certainly not formulated in so many words nor even conceived in the abstract by the savage, they are nevertheless implicitly believed by him to regulate the course of nature quite independently of human will. He thinks that if he acts in a certain way, certain consequences will inevitably follow in virtue of one or other of these laws, and if the consequences of a particular act appear to him likely to prove disagreeable or dangerous, he is naturally careful not to act in that way lest he should incur them. In other words, he abstains from doing that which, in accordance with his mistaken notions of cause and effect, he falsely believes would injure him. In short, he subjects himself to a taboo. It's a key point that ancient cultures were preoccupied with prohibitions and taboos, with the haram. Judaism and Islam to this day are ruled by prohibitions and taboos. Fraser wrote, thus taboo is so far a negative application of practical magic. Positive magic or sorcery says, do this in order that so and so may happen. Negative magic or taboo says, do not do this, lest so and so should happen. And this is exactly how most humans continue to think. Look at the law of attraction, manifestation, and all that. Business is booming for these versions of modern magical thinking. Magical thinking will never go out of fashion.